Today we are going to start a new topic, that is bioassay. That is one of the most important and very interesting topic. Already we have covered up the chapter cardiovascular system. Now we are going to find out the topic is bioassay. So as per our theory syllabus and as per your practical syllabus, in this regard this topic is very important, because the total pharmacology lab or the practical what you are performing, that is called as bioassay. Okay, so this is the practical session we are going to cover up. So there also we are doing different types of bioassay, and here in the theory we are going to find out what is the principle behind this bioassay and what are these, actually what is this bioassay and what are the principle behind this bioassay, what is the limitations, what are the advantages, and what are the types of bioassay. So in details, after studying all this material, we should go for the particular some topics like bioassay of acetylcholine, like that different chemicals and drugs we collect, and we will find out how we are going to find out or how we are going to estimate that particular chemical. Okay, so first of all, if we are going to take this terminology bioassay, we are going to get two of the terms. One, it is called as bio, and another one it is called as assay. So bio plus assay, assay, that is called as bioassay. Now as per your syllabus, you have already covered what is the meaning of assay. Okay, so the assay means, we can say, to find out the percentage of purity, it is called as assay. But if you are going to find out the percentage of purity, then definitely some of the rules, some of the methodology, some of the conditions you have to follow. So then only the assay will be performed. So if you are doing that same assay, means if you are finding the percentage of purity but using a biological object, that is called as bioassay. So here the medium of assay is biological substance. So now this biological substance means the experimental animals or its parts. So we are going to find out different parts of these experimental animals will be useful in our bioassay. Okay, or the total animal, it also may be useful. So we will come to know slowly. Now I think it is clear to you. Now bioassay means you are going to find out the assay, or you are going to perform the assay but using the biological substances, that is bioassay. Now this bioassay we are performing in pharmacology practical or pharmacology lab. Remember that this bioassay not actually a very ancient technique. We should say this is a new technique, or basically in the 19th century one of the scientists named Paul, so he has invented the bioassay. The first method of bioassay has been applied when there was a find out of diphtheria antitoxin. Okay, so first this was the approach when we have applied the bioassay. So 19th century means it's not too long back we are going to talking about that story. Rather than assay is much means previously we have received simple chemical assay, but bioassay is comparatively a newer approach. So in this bioassay we are going to find out different chemicals, it will come to our hand. We have to find out this particular chemical, it is having which type of action. We have to identify this. Okay, so for that purpose the bioassay will be useful. Now the next topic we will go That is the principle of bioassay. Principle of bioassay means whenever you are doing suppose simple assay also you are performing, there is also a principle. So here in bioassay also a definitely principle, and this principle is very easy to understand. What is this? There is a relationship between two of the material. Number one component that is called as dose, and number two component, this is called as response. So if you are going to think about the principle, so in this principle case we are going to find two components are there. One, this is called as dose, and another one, this is called as response. So if we are increasing the dose, the definitely response also increase. Okay, so if we are decreasing the dose, the response length also will decrease, or the response volume, it will also decrease. So two of the components are there which are dependent on each other, means this response is dependent on dose. Or we can say by finding the response we can find out what was the dose. So there is a relationship. Okay, so they are proportionately, they will increase. Dose it will increase means response also it will increase. This is the basic principle of bioassay. So if you are having these two things in your hand, these two known factors if you are having in your hand, automatically you can produce one of the substance that is called as standard curve. So this standard curve, when you can generate, if the dose is also known to you and the response already you have measured. So the dose and the response you can match and you can plot a curve. This is called as standard curve. Dose you can take in the x-axis and response you can take in the y-axis. So this relationship, it will give you a curve that is called as standard curve. Now this standard curve is very essential to find out the concentration of an unknown drug, because if you are going to take unknown drug and you are going to find out the concentration of this unknown drug, you have to have a particular standard curve. Because if you don't have the standard curve, you cannot find out the unknown drug concentration. Okay, so this is the bioassay. Remember that bioassay we are performing for two different motto you may have. One, it is you can perform bioassay for qualitative analysis, you can perform bioassay for quantitative analysis. So qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis, what is the difference? Qualitative means you are going to find out this component is having this drug is having which type of substance. Means you can take example whether this is an adrenergic substance or this is a cholinergic substance, this is a parasympathomimetic or parasympatholytic, sympathomimetic or sympatholytic, or whatever it may be. If you are going to get an idea what is this particular drug is, so to find out, to identify this drug, this is the, what is this? Qualitative analysis. But if you know this is a cholinergic substance, but what concentration it is having you don't know, you are going to find out the concentration of this cholinergic substance. So there you are going to find out, or there you are going to do the quantitative assay. Both you can perform by using bioassay. So quantitative as well as qualitative, both type of bioassay we are performing by this. Now we should know what is the advantages and what are the disadvantages of this bioassay. So first of all I will write the advantages. remember that lots of advantages are there, which advantages cannot be compensated by any other method. So first of all, the bioassay we are performing in where the other methods of assays are not applicable or the methods are not there. So if you are going to get a sample, in that particular sample there is no established assay method, different assay methods, but bioassay methods is there, then you can go for bioassay. So this is the first and foremost benefit of bioassay. Some of the chemicals, they don't have other assay methods, they are having only biological assay methods. Number 1 point, only biological assay methods. Number 2 points, when the sample size is very small, suppose you got the chemical, but the chemical you got very minimum quantity, that minimum quantity it is difficult to perform the chemical assay, you have to go for bioassay. So when the quantity of the sample or the size of the sample is less. Point number 3, suppose if you are going to perform this bioassay and you are finding that substance or what it has came to you, it may be a drug or it may be a chemical, that is a natural thing. So for this natural thing, it is impossible to perform chemical assay because in the contact of chemicals it will degrade. What you will do? You will go for this bioassay method. Okay, so you have to perform this bioassay method, means where the substance is, it will get destroyed in presence or it will get damaged in presence of the chemical substance. So where this chemical assay, it will damage the substance property, substance or its property, it will get damaged by contact with some chemical, you have to go for bioassay. Number 4 point, when if you are going to find out this, you have to know the theoretical when you have to know the therapeutic value or the therapeutic potency, or you can find out the lethal potency. If you are going to estimate all these materials, means which are extremely pharmacological data. Okay, so you can find out the therapeutic value, you can find out the lethal value, or you can find out the effective value. If you are going to estimate all these things, remember that the bioassay is only the method when the pharmacological parameters has to be measured, then the bioassay is the only one pathway. Okay, along with that, if you are going to find out the assay for a chemical, which chemical is thermoliable or which chemical suitable assay method is not possible because it get damaged easily, or it is very unstable in nature, it is very unstable in some elevated temperature also, but for your chemical assay this much temperature is required, at that condition also you have to go for bioassay. So in one word we can say, where the other assay methods of a particular chemical is not available, or the chemical cannot be withstand in this temperature, in higher temperature, or the chemical easily can degrade with the presence of chemical, means whatever the material you are going to assay, so that particular material it will get degraded in presence of some of the chemical. Along with that, if you are having very small size of sample, so all these cases the bioassay is the only one pathway. So that is essential, we should say that is essential. Now we are going to find out the limitations. So remember that all of the methods, whatever the methods we are having in our science, all are having some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages. So the limitations, the one and foremost important limitation, that is the error. This is the most important limitation. Some of the cases you are going to find out different types of errors it will come to your bioassay. So validation of bioassay itself, it is a difficult job because errors are too high. What is these errors? I will discuss in detail in just in the next topic. So along with that, limitation is number one, I told error. Number two, this limitation is this is a little bit expensive. And number three, lots of ethical permissions are required, or some obligations are there. You require some permission, some pro formas are there, some of the conditions are there. You have to maintain that condition, then only you will be eligible to do this particular bioassay. Otherwise it will be a problem. Okay, so these are the errors, these are the limitations we are finding. In that limitations, we are going to find out concentration, or we are going to concentrate on the error. Number one, which type of error we may find? I will give you different types of examples of errors which will come when you are going to perform bioassay. Very easy example I can give you. Different bioassay we cannot perform on different animals. Some bioassay is very selective on some particular species or particular genus of this animal. So suppose you are taking, you are doing the anti-emetic activity. You are doing the anti-emetic activity, and you are selecting the animal is rat. So that is a big failure because rat don't have the emesis center. So it won't vomit. Rat won't vomit. So anti-emetic activity on the rat, it is a bogus thinking. You cannot perform on that. So if you are going to find out that I have to go for anti-emetic activity of a particular drug, the best choice of animal is pigeon, because pigeon easily they can produce the vomit. So you have to select the subject who can easily exhibit that activity. Okay, suppose another one example I am taking. Suppose you are taking anti-diabetic activity. Okay, so anti-diabetic activity you are performing on rat, albino rat. So in this albino rat you have taken two different strain. What is this? Number one is Wistar strain, number two is Sprogdal strain, and you are performing the anti-diabetic activity. Definitely remember that Sprogdal strain will give better result when you are doing the anti-diabetic activity than if you have taken the albino Wistar rat. So this is the example I have given. These are the errors. It may happen due to your genus or species variance. I have given both of the examples. Okay, so this is the first error. This may happen. So you have to be very selective which type of activity you are going to perform and on which animal you have to perform. Otherwise you cannot fulfill this job. Okay, number two, this is the atmospheric variance or atmospheric error. What is this? Suppose you are performing the wound healing activity in a tropical area, along with that you are performing the same activity in a cold climate. So there will be a variance. There will be a definitely difference in between of two of the groups. The worker is same, the chemical is same, the standard is same, the animal is same, the stain is same. So then also you are performing the same wound healing activity in Rajasthan and the same wound healing activity in Jammu Kashmir, definitely there will be a variance in their result, because the atmosphere alter our wound healing activity, that you know. Okay, so this is the second example I have given. Number 3, here you are going to find out the difference as per the time. There, when you are going to take an animal, you have to maintain the 12 hours day and night cycle, dark and light cycle. Means you have to keep the animal 12 hours in dark and 12 hours in light, because they are habituated in this system. If you will alter this system, they will not give you the better result. So for that purpose, suppose the same activity you are performing, simple, you are doing multiple point bioassay. On the rat only, you are doing in the morning, early morning 6 o'clock, or you are doing in the late afternoon, means you can tell 3 o'clock when the sun is in the peak. Okay, so at two different condition, your tissue will give different result. Okay, or your animal will give different result, because morning the animal used to be very calm and quiet, they used to give better result than the evening time, because there is lots of noise, lots of variance, it used to come as the day is increasing, and the animals used to show the patience less activity. So when they will not keep the patience, you will not get the better result. So this is the different types of errors we are finding, and the most important error still I have not told you. What is this? The most important error we are going to find out, that is the personal error. What is this? Personal means you are doing the same bioassay. You are performing that bioassay by using a skilled person who is already trained. Lots of time he has practiced, or lots of years he is working on that, and you are a very nascent, first day you are performing. Definitely there will be a difference in between the result of means that skilled person and the what is this novice person. Definitely it will come. So that is called as personal error or manual error. This is the highest error. And even I am telling you, the same person performing the bioassay morning or the next day or another one day, means the same person is performing the bioassay in different times, the result will vary. So why this? Because the precision is very means you have to be very accurate. You have to measure all the parameters very nicely when you are performing bioassay. If there is any alteration on that conditions, what it will happen? Your biological assay result will vary. The next topic we are going to find out, that is types of bioassay. Remember that this is very important. Okay, types of bioassay means we are going to find these types. How many types of bioassay are there? First of all, if you are going to differentiate, this bioassay will be actually differentiated into two major types. One, it is called as direct bioassay, and another one it is called as indirect bioassay. This is the two major types. Further subtypes it will come. Direct bioassay is there and indirect bioassay is there. Direct bioassay means here simply you are taking the animal, and this particular animal you will treat as per your requirement. When as per your requirement means what type of bioassay you are going to perform. You will take this animal directly. Suppose you are doing the emetic, anti-emetic activity. Directly you are doing that on animal. Suppose you are doing the analgesic activity. Directly you are doing on the animal. You are finding this drug whether it is showing the analgesic activity or not. You are going to find out. So this is the direct method. What is the indirect measure? Here direct this type of assay it is not possible. We have to know the result, but in different way or little bit indirect pathway. Indirect pathway means we are going to take the tissue, we are applying one of the chemical, and we are going to find out what is the dose and what is the response. We are comparing these dose and responses. After that, one unknown sample we are taking and we are measuring the what is the actual response it will come. Got it? Got my point? So this is the indirect method. So it will be further more clear when we will go for the further classification of this direct and indirect method. Okay? So today up to this much. In the very next class we will discuss in detail about the types of bioassay.